I'm back. How's it going? Oh, wait. It's just me. Tom and Kyle were busy tonight. They couldn't make it. Tommy's got company, and Kyle had a football game. And since he's a coach, he's busy. So I'll jump in. Fast and Loud was Monday. They redid Richard's Mustang convertible. It's a 60... Is it a 68? Yeah, it's a 68 Shelby Mustang convertible tribute car. And it's a replica of one that was driven by Pierce Brosnan in the Thomas Crown Affair remake. It's an interesting car, and he brought up the fact that he had gotten it in season 1 of Fast and Loud, and I don't even remember that. And I have been watching it since the beginning. But supposedly a buddy of his commissioned the car, and Richard liked it so much that the guy ended up giving it to him. Now, when he says that, he makes it sound like he literally gave it to him. So I don't know that he paid for that. So that's pretty cool. He's had it ever since. It was basically a 68 Mustang convertible automatic with a 302. The guys claimed that it was pretty weak horsepower wise, and it ran okay, but it wasn't very powerful. And its time had come. Richard drives his vehicles, like we all wish we could, right? We had a classic like that. So that's cool. I don't believe in babying a car and putzing it around unless it's some Pebble Beach, what does Dennis always say, the Holy Grail car? Unless you got like one of those, I just drive it the way that the little kid in you wanted to drive it. Don't get hurt, don't hurt the car, don't smash into things, but also don't sit around wiping it with a diaper, basically playing Hot Wheels in your mind with how you wish you could be. Get out and drive it. So the guys took it down, polished it up, refreshed the interior. Supposedly Sue was involved, and they showed it in outtakes of the show, but it didn't actually make the cut of the show itself. So that was interesting. Just the fact that they promoted her on social media of being part of the show, and then she didn't actually make it in the show. So that was weird. But the interior got a refresh, and they got a 347 stroker, aluminum radiator, automatic overdrive transmission, and really freshened it up. So now it has over 400 horsepower, which they said was over double what it had. An overdrive transmission, they put Willwood brakes on it, so it's properly quick now. I have to say, it's a cool car, and honestly, I think it's more famous being Richard's car on Fast and Loud than it is to being the Thomas Crown car. But I get that. However, I don't think I would ever build a 68 Shelby convertible tribute car that has big off-roadish tires and KC lights. That's weird. But it also kind of works, so I don't know. Interesting deal there. And then, of course, the other thing, and we posted on our social media today, is that Jessie Combs passed. She's the fastest woman on 4 wheels. She was the fastest woman on wheels. I mean, she drove bikes. She was in the Baja 1000. She won her class in the King of Hammers. They called her the Queen of the Hammers. She's the world record holder for land speed. She went 390 some miles an hour in a jet car, and she was trying to break that record, and unfortunately she crashed and passed. Sad to hear. I actually do remember her from her days early on on overhauling. I did not remember that she was a student at Wyotech. when she got her start on there. But I do remember her being on the show, and I do remember her working on cars, and you could tell kind of right away that she was different than a lot of the other people. You could tell she had real talent, not just as a fabricator and a builder, but she had real talent on the microphone, and it really took her places. So this is one of those rare talents, where she could talk the talk and she could walk the walk, and she lived her life that way. And so it's pretty sad when you lose someone like that. I mean, she was only 36 years old, so she ended up hosting All Girls Garage, and she had worked with really every cool person in the industry. At least worked with her once or had met her, and nobody has anything but or I should say everyone has nothing but nice things to say about her, and that holds up to the personality you caught. I mean, just a very cool person who lived a hell of a life, still very sad. She died doing what she loves, and I think that's important. When anybody gets in any kind of vehicle like that and decides to take it to the absolute extreme limits, we forget sometimes because it doesn't happen very often, thankfully, but their lives are on the line out there. Whether that's NASCAR, Top Fuel Racing, land speed racing, those people, they are at the absolute extreme limit, and it's unfortunate, and it's a good reminder for all of us that going out and having a good time with our cars is a great thing, but there is an inherent danger to all of it, and you just got to be careful out there. Do the best you can, and fate will take care of the rest, I guess. I don't know what else to say about that. It was sad. Pretty bummed to hear that today. Tonight at 10 o'clock, which would be approximately an hour from now, Jay Leno's Garage returns. And he's going to have Kevin Hart on there, and Kevin is hilarious. So, and as many people have pointed out, Jay Leno is fantastic on Jay Leno's Garage. You can tell it's a show that he's really passionate about. He loves these cars. He loves talking about them. And I think it's a little extra special when he has a comedian on there because, as you see by watching Comedians in Cars with Coffee, or if you watch or listen to any of Joe Rogan or Bill Burr's podcasts or the like, there's a special camaraderie between those guys, and it's because of what they've been through and the lives they've lived. I think they connect on a very personal level. So I expect that to be a very good episode. I'm looking forward to watching it. Excuse me while I take a sip of this. Picked up some Jameson tonight. Been a while since I've had some Jameson. Tastes good. Automotive news, the 2020 Corvette. So now there's a whole slew of information that's coming out this week. Motor Authority, Car and Driver, Motor Trends all got these different things that they're talking about. Sources claim the Z06 is going to have a flat plane V8. Originally they were reporting that would have twin turbos, but now they're saying no. The Z06 will be a naturally aspirated flat plane V8 and a pure track vehicle. The version with twin turbos will be the ZR1. Now, at 500-ish naturally aspirated horsepower, that's going to be really fast. What are the outgoing ZR1 was 750 horsepower, somewhere in that neighborhood. I expect this to have more and be a lot faster. They also released that the quarter mile times will be in the 11.3 range for the upcoming Vet. So that's the 495 horsepower version. Interesting that the GT500 will be 0.4 quicker, roughly, in the quarter mile. And it has, as we know, 760 horsepower. So that gives you an idea of the efficiency and the lightness of the Corvette, that it can run with 495 horsepower and be behind, but in the neighborhood of the GT500. So 4/10 is a lot, but in a quarter-mile drag race. But it's also, if you smoke your tires, you miss a shift, you don't leave on time, that's a very small amount. Try to catch 4/10 on a stopwatch, and you get an idea of what that difference is on paper, or I mean in the real world. The other thing that I had checked out, I read an article of pitting the 2019 Shelby GT350 versus the 2020 Supra. Now, the Supra is one of those cars that was really picked up by everybody around the Fast and the Furious. That was the hero car. That was the one Brian O'Connor had to deliver a 10-second car, and he got that, out of a scrap heap, and they rebuilt it and overnighted parts from Japan and turned it into this sleek car that famously smokes a Ferrari out on the coastal highway in California. And so, pretty cool. I've been a fan of Supras. I don't necessarily want one, and for one reason is they've been really, really expensive for a very long time, and so that's due to their abilities. I mean, they were 300 horsepower cars from the factory back then, but their drivetrain and their ability, it didn't take many mods or a ton of work to get them up to 600-700 horsepower and more. So they're crazy. They were. Time will tell if this new Supra can live up to that. It has 330 horsepower. It is a very lightweight car. And I think other than 0 to 60, it was slower than the Mustang in every metric they tested. So that's kind of to be expected. I mean, the Mustang, with its flat plane V8, 526 horse, that'd be pretty tough for the Supra to keep up with. So, it's just the old adage. The Supra's smaller, lighter, has less power, but it's also easier to drive. Mustang's bigger and heavier, but has a lot more power. It was also $7,000 more than the Supra. So, I guess, where I'd fall on that, I would want a GT350. It's not just because I prefer American muscle. It's also because that flat plane V8 in the GT350 is currently the best motor, I think, going. I don't think there's anything cooler than that anywhere in the world. The Z06 Corvette is getting a flat plane V8, and if it's based on the small block Chevy, that's going to be interesting. That might be the new king when it comes out, as far as acoustics and everything else, because the wail of a GT350 is insane. No one gets tired of that. So for car and driver, and also I would say for me, in the end, the Mustang's a little bit better everywhere, but for me personally, that's a better car. So pretty awesome. I don't know. I don't think anybody listening to this would contest that the GT350 would be the way to go. Especially given that they're essentially the same going backwards. And so right now you can get a really nice, lightly used GT350 for about $40,000, which is, would be significantly cheaper than a Supra. Food for thought. And then the next thing, the 2019 Camaro. I labeled this "Desperate Times Call for Desperate Measures." Now, the Camaro is not in necessarily dire straits, and Kyle intimated last week that he knows people that work down there, and they're saying that the Camaro is not going away. And like I said, I really hope that's not true, because the Camaro is a damn good car. It's got an ugly facelift, but I drove a 2017, and I thought it was fantastic. So, that's just that's my take on the whole thing. But I guess now, for a limited time, you get an additional $2,500 off a new Camaro if you're coming in and getting rid of your Mustang. That's kind of sad. You know, I know why they're doing it. It's to try to entice a person who's ready to upgrade their Mustang. But doesn't that just feel a little sad? You know what I mean? It feels a little desperate. It's got some stink to it. That's what I would say. It's got a little stink to it. I don't think that's a good look. I don't think that is good for their reputation. Yeah, you know, that's pretty weak in my opinion. But yeah, what are you gonna do? The 95 Mustang GT convertible is still up for sale. We do have some people that are coming by to look at it. It is a great car. I can't stress that enough. And at $49.95, she's pretty cheap to get into the hobby. And it's a car you could be proud driving next to anything. It really is a nice car. We do have some exciting news coming up. It looks like we will be moving towards our first sweepstakes. We'll have more details on that in the next couple weeks. But be on the lookout. I think we're going to make that leap. All right, maybe I shouldn't say that leap. What we're going to do is test it out and see if you guys like it. If you're interested in it, it'll be available to everyone 18 and up in North America. So be ready for that. Pretty exciting. Other news, our Lions lost. 24-20. Starters look good. Davis and Ragnow went down. Will and I kind of went over all this. I had hoped to talk to Kyle about it because, you know, he's a football coach. He played football. He was an athlete in high school and college. Very knowledgeable. And he's just messaging me, letting him know it's okay. He was at a football game. He was going to try to make it tonight, but I kind of thought, you know what? It's already running late. I don't know if he's going to be able to get here in time. So, you know, I didn't want to push it too hard. Yeah, I didn't want to do that to him. So I decided, what the heck? I'll jump in here and talk to everyone myself. Will and I will be picking this up Saturday with another podcast. We're going to be reviewing Smokey and the Bandit. At the same time, I'm writing up a movie review, and so we'll have that available Saturday, which also, it reminds me, I'll be posting up an article tomorrow entitled "The One That Got Away," and most of these are going to be an ongoing series of articles. And so in this one, I'll be recapping the time about 10 years ago that I almost bought a 68, or was it a 69? I'll have to look at my stuff again. But 10 years ago is a long time when you're getting older. But convertible, Firebird convertible, and it was a heck of a car. And I was very serious about buying it. And this is right before I bought my black Mustang. I was very serious about buying it. I went there. This was, me, Jules, JT. We went down there, test drove it, met the owner, went all through the car, top to bottom. I was convinced. I made a mistake in that he had a great price on it, and I tried to get it cheaper. Classic, that's what people do. I tried to get it a little cheaper, and he ended up getting an offer at full price like 2 weeks later because he was sitting on it and thinking about it. And, of course, he sold it to the person offering full price, and I lost out on the car. That bothers me to this day. Now, who knows what would have happened had I gotten it? Would I have been able to? Because it needed a paint job. It needed restoration. But it was pretty solid, and it ran and it drove. And it was complete. Everything was there. So that was a bummer. I'll give you a lot more detail on it. I've got a lot of pictures of it. I mean, I really, really was looking hard at it. And again, we were there and checked it all out. Jules loved the car. I loved the car. Unfortunately, as happens, I tried to go low, and someone else was very happy to pay the fair price he was asking. So you'll see that tomorrow. But yeah, everything else is going good. Our Tuesday car night got canceled due to some nasty storms that have been rolling through the past couple days, and so they're moving that to Saturdays at 2, which works, or Sundays at 2, which works better for me. So Sunday afternoons, you'll be able to catch me down at the drive-in with at least one of my cars. Who knows if I can drag Julie down or JT with me. We'll see. But we generally have a good time. We're looking to do some more interviews for the podcast and have more guests on and in the future. And then Kyle and Tom will be back next week, like I said, and I'll be working with Will on Saturday. That's about all I got. Just short and sweet. I'm out of here.